Again there YouTube, I've got another review for you today, and as you can see it is the Tokyo Marui SIG 552 Seals assault rifle. I bought this about a year and a half ago, so it's actually one of the guns I've owned the longest right now. And I bought it for about £215, which could equate to dollars, maybe it's $3.50, something around that. It's a little bit more expensive now, but I think it's still a good deal for a great gun. So if I open up the box, you can see what it comes with. Get that out of the way, it's quite a nice big box. As you can see, the gun comes folded in the box. You get this little manual, standard TM manual, which is in Japanese, but it's got nice pictures so you can work out what's going on. That's good. Pretty small manual compared to the pistol ones, but it's fine nonetheless. You will get, I have used them up, so you won't see that in there, but underneath this fake box of BBs, fake box of ammunition, you get some BBs under there, a few hundred .2s, which is nice, and they are fine to use because they are TM quality. You will get a speed loader, which is nice. It's one of the 100-round plunger type speed loaders. Just put the BBs in there and then pump into the top of the magazine, which is great for loading the supplied low cap that it comes with. That's nice quality. And then you'll get the gun, as well as your cleaning unjamming rod, but very rarely you're going to need that. Right, so first thing I should say is that you can see this rail on the bottom of the gun here, something that the SIG series by TM come with. Now this I don't particularly like, so I removed that. It simply attaches with these little screws that, well, not little, they're quite big actually. These screws that go through the handguard, and there you can see the rail. It's a plastic 20mm rail, which is fine for fitting accessories. To begin with, I had this attached to it, which is a Magpul RVG, I think, rail vertical grip or whatever it's called, and had that on there, which is just the right size for this kind of gun, which looks pretty good on there. But I don't have that on right now, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, so if I take the gun out of the box and get the box out of the way, I can begin with the review. Here we have the TM SIG 552 out of its box. It comes with the stock folded, as you'll notice. To get the stock out, you simply pull it. Quite a big pull. Just snap it away and click into place, which is simple enough. And it is pretty solid, not much movement at all, that will stay in place. You'll notice that it comes with this rather short 20-round low cap. Sorry, the real one's 20 rounds, this Airsoft magazine is a 40-round low cap. You can see that it does come with the fake 5.56 rounds inside that you can sort of see through, which is quite a nice feature. It does come with the locking lugs on the side, which means if you buy another one like I did, you can snap them together, although since I bought these I dropped them whilst they were attached and some of the lugs have snapped off, so they're not attached anymore. So yeah, you get one with the gun, 40 rounds, and will feed fine. I only load about 35 rounds, otherwise they slightly jam right at the beginning, but usually that's fine. If you note how they click into the gun, it's similar to an AK or a G3 kind of style. You put the front in first, you hook the front in, so if I hook that in, hard to do it whilst looking through the camera, and then you roll it back and it'll click in. Really easy to do once you get the hang of it. I can do it pretty quickly now. Speaking of magazines, these are the standard low capacity magazines, as I said. Now TM also offers for the skirmishes out there, but for some more firepower, these, which are 220 round high capacity wind up magazines. They are translucent, which means you can't see the BBs inside, you can just about see through it there. Winding wheel on the bottom, and these have 220 rounds, so it's kind of the equivalent of an MP5 magazine. Not too bad, it's alright. They feed perfectly, and again, they've got the lugs on the side, so if you like, which is what I'll do here, you can snap two of them together. You simply click these and then twist, and they're together. And then if I put that into the rifle, one of them obviously hangs at the side. Then when you're out of ammunition, you simply replace that one with that one, and then that one hangs off the other side. And they're very good magazines. I did actually have a look around for something with a bit more firepower. I found that the ICS make a SIG magazine that holds 470 BBs, but I didn't buy one of those. It was quite expensive, so I got one of these Jingong 330 round SIG magazines, which is longer than the usual 20 round style. As I'll show you, you can see that it's that much longer because it replicates the real life 30 rounder instead of the 20 rounds, and it fits perfectly and feeds very well actually. It's not translucent, it's matte black, but it gives the gun quite a nice look. So for the remainder of the review, I'll be keeping this 30 rounder in there. I'm going to go over some of the features of this rifle now. If we start at the back, you can see the polymer buttstock, which is a really nice stock, I think. It's really lightweight because of the cutout in it. It's got a sling hoop there, which I don't use personally. It's got a little piece here that clicks into the body of the gun. And you've got a rubberized pad on the back, which gets into your shoulder really nicely. And I find that a really comfortable pad on the back there. To fold the stock, you simply press this metal button here, which folds it around the back, and then you simply snap it in the side. It doesn't need a bit of a hit, you just hit it in, and then it is solid. There's no way in the field that this would ever come off. It's totally fixed. You can, if you want, use it as a vertical grip. It pokes through there, so you can hold it like that, similar to an MP9 style stock. So yeah, it's a really good stock. It's nice and secure. Moving up from the stock, we've got this sort of spacer here between the stock and the body. This is all metal. It connects to the back of the gearbox in there. So yeah, that's all metal. Gives it sort of a bit of rigidity, I don't even know what you meant to say. Makes it nice and rigid at the back of the gun, kind of acts as a spine that holds it all together. Right above that you've got the rear sight, which I'll go into later. Going down from here you've got the grip, which is similar to an M249 SAW style grip, which is nice because they're both made by FN. That is plastic. It's quite a large grip, but I still find it very comfortable to hold. On the bottom you see the metal motor plate there. Going up you'll see the selector switch, which is ambidextrous. It is on both sides. It goes from safe, which is that S there, to 1, then round to 20. And you can see it on the other side here. It's very positive, clicks in nicely. 20, 1, safe. Which is nice. It is very easy to access on both sides and clicks in very positively. I really like the selector switch on this. It feels perfect, really. Going to the trigger guard, it's quite unique because this is a Swiss-made assault rifle where it's often cold, obviously, because it's Switzerland. Soldiers that would be wearing large gloves and mitts that cover more of your fingers, mittens. What you can do is press the trigger guard to one side or to the other, depending on what hand you are. Which is quite cool. It's quite useful if you're wearing large gloves. You just press it to the side. Either way, the trigger is quite a thick trigger, but very positive. Not a huge amount of travel. It's quite responsive. Yeah, it's definitely a nice trigger on this. Obviously, it's an AEG, so there's only a certain amount of trigger feel that you can really get, but it's a pretty good trigger for what it is. Moving up from that, we've got the ambidextrous magazine release. Just going to get these magazines out of the way. Which is like an AK or a G3, etc. And it's quite easily reachable from both sides of the gun. So if I hold it with this hand, you simply grab it. So with this hand you simply pull it out like that and then can click it back in. Or if you use your other hand, just as easily, just with your thumb, quickly snap it. If you've got quite a long index finger, you could happily press that with your index finger and remove the magazine, like that. But I find it easier just to grab and take away. Above the magazine release, you've got this bolt release lever, which is fixed on this gun. Unlike the ICS and G&G, it doesn't have a fully retractable bolt, and it doesn't lock back. I'm just going to move the magazine because it's getting in the way a bit. Okay. Talking about the bolt, here's the bolt of the gun. As you can see, it doesn't travel the whole way. It doesn't go into this, on the ICS and G&G, this is a rubberized cover which the bolt will slide into. On the TM, it only goes maybe half the way that the normal one does, but that's enough to reveal your hop-up unit in here, if I can get my camera to focus, which is a simple wheel design, up for more hop, down for less hop. So when changing the hop, one hand holding it back, other hand quickly do that. It's easy enough. Whilst I'm on the body, you'll note that it has really nice trademarks on the body of this. It says SIG arms, made in Exeter, Switzerland, made in Switzerland, caliber 223 Remington. On the other side of the gun, there's also some nice trademarks. If I can get it to focus. Restricted for law enforcement, military use only, and export, which is nice. Those trademarks are still there after over a year of use, so they're on there pretty solidly. It's got proper SIG trademarks, not sure if they're licensed or not. You can also see a little SIG trademark on the back metal plate here. Okay, moving on to the rear iron sight. I can get it to the camera better by folding the stock, so I'll do that. Now you'll note that I have painted these little holes that are in the back of the sight. As you can see there, they come blank when you buy it, but it's easy enough to dab a little bit of white paint into each of those holes. Now this is position 1 of the sights, which is a open sight style. Quite hard to see through the camera, but you can see it's really open, kind of like an MP5 open sight. Position 2 is a relatively large hole, which hopefully I can get on the camera. Yeah, there you go. It's really hard to try and look through the camera and aim, but there you go. Then it gets smaller and smaller the more you turn it. And eventually you get to this absolutely tiny hole that you can hardly see through. There, you can see just about, but I wouldn't recommend using that. I'd say for skirmishing use, the open sight or the medium or the large hole is the best. So I'd stick with that. The rear sight is windage and elevation adjustable, there and there for windage, and it is full metal, this unit, attached to the metal spine, and comes with this metal sling hoop, which is incredibly useful because it's in the middle of the gun. That means you can attach a 1-point sling and have it hanging from this hook, which is really useful. Okay, so that's the receiver covered. We'll move forward to the hand grip. The Handguard is a 2-piece plastic unit. As I said, it did come with a rail on the bottom and one on the side. They're both removed because I'm not really a fan of rails. Don't really have anything to put on them, to be honest. A bit cheap, and I prefer the original look of this. If I show you how to remove the Handguard, there's a button here which is connected to the pin on the other side. Press that, pull out the pin. It's a pin that won't fall out on its own because it's got a retention system. And then, lower part of the handguard slide towards you, and the top can be lifted off, which is just a thin plastic shell. Now originally when this gun's bought, it'll have a plastic cover that sits inside here to hold the battery. It's fine if you're using a low MAH TM battery, which is really thin. If you're using a standard 8.4, such as this 01 branded 8.4 volts 1600 milliamp, it will not fit unless you simply unscrew these holes, and then you can take out the battery tray, which I would recommend. You don't lose really any structural integrity at all. It's fine. You'll see the mini Tamiya connector there. You can see the brass barrel running through. Now if I pull off the bottom of the handguard, which slide it forward, down and off, you can see the fuse that sits underneath. And note that this whole unit here, from here onwards, all of that and the front block is full metal. It's a decent quality metal as well. Wouldn't say it's steel, but it's certainly a nice alloy. That's all metal there. This Swiss cross here, just in front of the charging handle, is metal, and that allows you to slide on a rail, a top rail, and then it screws into the rear side, which gives you a nice bit of real estate for a scope all along the top, and that's separately bought from TM. Okay, moving up along the front, you can see the barrel, which goes into this sort of end cap. This includes the gas regulator, which doesn't do anything, but can be sort of turned, that gas regulator. It comes with this bottom piece, I assume it's for a bayonet or something. Here we've got the front sling hoop, which I don't use personally, but that's there if you want it, which is still metal. And then you've got the muzzle, which comes with a SIG style flash hider, as well as, if I unscrew it, a standard for Airsoft 14mm counterclockwise thread to attach your choice of suppressor, compensator, or any other kind of flash hider. I won't bother putting that on now. Okay, so if I show you the front sight now, it's a simple hooded post, such as an H&K weapon, but unlike those, it also comes with this flip-up sight that I've painted white, as you can see there, for easy target acquisition. So right now, if you look at the front sight, it's quite hard to see against this background, which is similar to a woodland environment. So if I flick up this, it's easier to see that white dot, and you can line up the three. So it's a really nice sight arrangement overall. Right, I'm going to assemble the weapon and go over some last features. The final part of my review of the TM SIG 552 assault rifle, I'm going to try and get the battery in whilst on camera. Now it's a really tricky task, I've got to admit. It's not like any other gun sliding it into the stock or whatever. This is really really tricky to get in. Right, so I've got the top cover removed. You can have the bottom plate on, but you take off the top cover, now attach the connectors. Now the trick with this is to get the front pressed up against that front gas block, and then squeeze it in the side. Now it's got to be at an angle. For the front sight, for the handguard to get in, this has got to be at an angle. Then you push in all your wiring. Now I'm going to attempt to get this handguard on. I'm not expecting this to work first time. No, haven't got it at quite the right angle. This would be an impossible task in the field, I think, to be able to try and get this on, especially if you've got the original battery retainer. This is going to be something really hard. There you go. And now that's on. Slide the lower handguard forward and pop your pin in before it all comes out again. So that's quite hard to do, but once it's in there, it's definitely solid. This is an 8.4 volt battery, as I said, so I wasn't expecting a huge rate of fire, but it's got really good trigger response actually. If I flick it to semi, it's very crisp. Switch it to fully. For a stock weapon, especially a TM, this has got a really nice rate of fire. I assume it's got an EG, is it EG 1000 or EG 100, I'm not sure. It's got quite a good motor in it, clearly. And it's shooting really smoothly. It's a very smooth gearbox, as you can hear. Really nice trigger response. It really is a pleasure to use in the field. Especially if you're doing CQB semi-automatic only. You can get shots off really quickly with this good motor and gearbox setup. Right now it's totally stock, which means on a .20 gram BB, it's only shooting at around 270 FPS. I have actually used this in Woodland a number of times, and despite its lowish FPS, it's been great. It's got an excellent hop-up unit, so it's performed just as well as any other assault rifle. I think if you're a CQB player and if you use a semi-automatic weapon only, or even a fully automatic weapon at CQB, this is perfect. The accuracy, despite the shortish barrel, is excellent. You've got a great rate of fire, and the FPS doesn't really matter too much. Maybe if you're living in the US and FPS is a bit more important to you, you might want to get an ICS or a G&G and take it up to 400 or whatever. But here in the UK especially, or for a CQB player, this is a perfect gun. I can't really recommend it more. It's definitely withstood the test of time, owning this for over a year. And I'm still impressed every time I take this out to use. Thank you for watching. I'll be having some more reviews up soon of my other guns. I've got 2 more assault rifles to review, Depending on my money situation, I should have some more handguns as well. Thank you for watching. Check out my other videos. Thanks.